Are you really married to your wife? What do you mean? I had hired a detective to conduct an investigation. When I heard the report from the detective, I couldn't hide my shock at the unexpected results. If my wife is using my frequent night shifts to take advantage of me, I will never forgive her. My name is John Smith. I work at a factory, and in 2 months will be the first New Year's since I got married. My wife Anna, whom I married 6 months ago, is 5 years younger than me and a very sweet woman. We met at a party and hit it off because we have the same last name. We married after dating for 4 years. Anna's parents had already passed away and she had no relatives, so we didn't have a wedding ceremony. We just took wedding photos and that was it. Anna is a regional manager of a sales branch. She works at the branch office, but also travels to various sites. We decided to save up by working as much as we could before having kids. I mostly work night shifts, so this allows me to relax on my days off. I have more days off than other workers because one night shift is counted as 2 days of work. Anna's job also has a flexible schedule, so she could often combine her days off. We went on day trips, dates, and enjoyed our life as newlyweds. One day I came home after a night shift, and Anna, who should have already left for work, was still at home. Huh? Anna, you're not off today, are you? I asked her curiously. Yeah, that's the thing. Anna paused as if she was having a hard time getting the words out. I have to go on a business trip tomorrow, and it's a bit long, so I suddenly decided to take today off. Oh, okay. How long will you be? I don't know, maybe a week, maybe a little longer. I won't know until I get there. Okay, good luck with your work. I felt lonely with the suddenness and length of the trip. I have 2 days off in a row tomorrow and the day after, so I thought I could spend a relaxing evening with Anna. But since it's work, it can't be helped, so I took Anna to the airport. It took about 2 hours to drive her there, then 2 hours by plane to New York, where the head office is located. I dropped Anna off at the airport. Since I don't get to go there often, I spent some time in the area. I had lunch at a famous cafe nearby and then headed home. As I was lying on the sofa, exhausted, I found an envelope under the TV that I did not recognize. I knew that Anna was going on a business trip to the head office, and she would be in trouble if she had left something behind. I felt bad, but I opened the envelope. Inside were several photos of Anna with a man I'd never seen before and a girl about 5 years old. They were standing in front of a school. What is this? My mind went blank. Is she cheating on me? And she has a child? An affair? Before I knew it, I found myself calling Anna's workplace. I told them who I was and asked if Anna was on a business trip. To my surprise, they told me she was on bereavement leave. I was also told that Anna rarely travels from the branch office to the head office. Anna told me she was going to be away from home on a business trip, but it was actually a bereavement leave? I didn't hear anything about that. I thought she must have lied and took time off from work to see the man in the picture and his child. I searched for a detective agency. I chose one and went to their office the next day. Realizing that I had been lied to for the past 4 years, from the time we started dating until now, I began to feel a sense of emptiness. I must have been tired that day because before I knew it, I fell asleep. When I awoke, it was 6 the next morning. My appointment at the detective agency was at 10 a.m., so I prepared everything and went to the office. I carefully put the envelope I had found yesterday in a large bag so that it would not bend. It was the first time in my life seeing a detective agency. Everything I was thinking I should say disappeared from my mind as soon as I opened the door to the office. Waiting for me was a young man dressed in casual-looking clothes. He looked to be in his mid-20s. I was thinking how young he looked, and he must have read my mind. Do you think I look unreliable for a detective? He asked. He smiled in a carefree way that put me at ease. I'm new to this kind of place, so I'm a little nervous, I answered hastily. Go ahead and take a seat. He gestured toward the sofa. The detective and I started chatting. I showed him the photos in the envelope that led me to suspect the affair. The detective sorted through the photos and began making copies of the ones that could be used as evidence. He copied the photo of the 3 of them standing together in front of the school. I think this will give us a big lead, he said. The name of the school was very clearly visible on the photo. He looked up the school online and gave them a call. He called from another room, so I couldn't hear what was said on the phone. He found out that the girl in the photo was a student there, but she had been on leave from school. He decided to stake out the route that they might take to go to school. I was told that since the kindergarten was in New York, the fee would be quite expensive. I accepted the cost of the fee. Actually, I've been interested in stocks and Forex since becoming an adult. Once I started working, I began investing monthly and made some profits, so I could afford the investigation fee. The investigator would have to take an airplane to New York, so I didn't know how long the investigation would take. But since my wife had lied and humiliated me, I would do anything to get proof of what she did. The detective probably figured that if Anna returned, then the girl in the photo would show up at school. Starting the following day, I went about my business as usual. I put the envelopes back where I had taken them from. Then I received a message from Anna. Though she had originally planned to be away for 1 week, she told me, "Sorry, my business trip has been extended, so I'll be back on Sunday." As agreed, I called the detective on the day she returned home. The detective was ready to go with the investigation. That evening, I received a call from the detective. He delivered some terrible news. During the preliminary investigation, an unexpected situation came to light. "What do you mean?" I said. I didn't know what to expect. "I'll be back tomorrow. Is there any chance you could meet with me?" he asked. "Yes, right away," I replied. I immediately went to the detective's office the next day after my shift. "Is my wife having an affair after all?" I asked. The detective hesitated to reply. "No, I think it's even worse than that," he said. The detective looked so serious I had to stop myself from interrupting. "First of all, it's probably true that your wife has been on bereavement leave from work. But I have to ask, are you really married to your wife?" The detective said. "What do you mean? We signed the marriage papers 6 months ago," I replied. "Actually, I went to New York and tracked them down to their home. I saw them returning home from the kindergarten. According to their neighbors, they've been living there for the past 4 years. She returned to New York a few times a year. She stayed there about a week for the funeral of her husband's grandfather, who also lived in New York." I was speechless. "It's hard to judge since you and Anna had the same last name to begin with. I recommend that you check with the Department of Records." I thanked the detective for his advice and went to City Hall. I asked them to confirm the residence of the members of my household, but only I was listed. "No way, this can't be right. I got married 6 months ago." I got confused and shouted, complaining at the staff. The staff member looked troubled. "I'm sorry, but we can't find any record of your marriage," she said. I persisted and begged them. "My wife's name is Anna Smith," I told her. I was about to cry, and the staff kept apologizing to me, saying they were really sorry. Still confused, I tried to remember the day we registered our marriage. As I recall, I was at work, but Anna insisted that our horoscope was good that day. Anna stubbornly went to City Hall alone to register our marriage. It never occurred to me that the marriage registration had not actually been submitted. Once I began to cry, my emotions gradually subsided. "I'm sorry for the trouble," I told the staff, and I left the City Hall. I went home and thought about all the exhausting things I've done after my night shift each day. I fell asleep on the sofa thinking about what to do next. When I woke up, I saw Anna cooking dinner for me. Seeing her like that reminded me of the man and the girl in the picture. I was furious at the fact that my wife cheated on me, but I knew that if I lost my head, I wouldn't be able to catch her, so I contained my emotions. From that day on, I put a smile on in front of Anna and went on with my life. It's been about a week since I went to City Hall. I've been thinking about how I could find out about Anna's real husband. Anna's a little bit forgetful, and that day she just happened to forget her phone. I was off work, so I thought about delivering it to her. But first, I decided to check what was on her phone. Normally, it's not a good idea to look at other people's phones without permission, but I didn't have time to worry about that. The stress was getting to me, so I had to know. It was easy to unlock the phone because Anna sometimes says the password out loud. There was a man in her contacts who had the girl from the photo as his profile picture. I immediately called the man. After the third ring, a man answered. "Hello, who's this?" He had a calm-sounding voice. "Are you Anna Smith's husband?" I asked. The man's voice changed to a doubtful tone. "Yes, I am. Who am I speaking with?" he said. "I met Anna while she was traveling alone for work," I told him. "I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but we are living together now." "So she had another man after all," he said. "I'm planning to visit near your area to see my wife's family at the end of the year. Would you meet me then?" he asked. It was an unexpected turn of events. I gladly accepted such a kind offer. At that time, I received a message from Anna. "Unfortunately, I can't stay here for New Year's. I'm going back to my hometown for the 31st and the 1st. Anna told me her plans. I had been waiting for Anna to tell me this. Of course, I immediately said yes. According to what her husband told me, Anna's hometown is the next town over. Anna had told me that both her parents passed away and she had no relatives. In fact, both of her parents are still alive and well, and they still live in the next town. 1 month left until New Year's. I searched for a lawyer specializing in domestic conflicts and made a plan to get back at Anna. I acted normally toward Anna until the day of my plan. But playing pretend with her was a pain in the ass. Finally, a month later, the day arrived. I told Anna that I had to work the night shift on the 30th. "Have a safe trip. Happy New Year's," I told her. I left for work with a smile. I had already arranged to take leave from work from the 30th to the 2nd. I stayed at a hotel on the 30th, and on the 31st, I went to meet with Anna's husband. Sitting there, he looked gentlemanly, exactly like in the photo. His name was Roy, and he had married Anna 6 years ago. They have a 5-year-old daughter, the girl in the picture. We briefly introduced ourselves and then got to work on the plan. Roy had flown all the way from New York with his parents and his daughter. I told him to leave his daughter with her grandmother at their hotel. I thought she was too young for our conversation. Roy, his father, and I headed to Anna's parents' house. It seemed that Roy had talked with Anna's parents in advance. They got immediately started begging for forgiveness when they saw me. I was shocked. On the eve of the 31st, Anna returned home as planned. "I'm home," she said, and opened the living room door. "Welcome back," I told her. The one who greeted her wasn't her parents or Roy. It was me. When she saw me, the blood drained from her face. "How did you get here?" she asked me. She looked shocked. "What's going on here? I thought you and I were married," I asked her. I smiled at her calmly. "No, it's not what you think," she stammered. She froze and went pale. Then Roy, his father, and Anna's parents gathered around us. All of them were glaring at Anna with demon-like expressions. Roy opened his mouth to speak. "How could this be? We just had our first child. But for the sake of your promotion, you moved out on your own. Then you had an affair and you started living a double life." Roy's nonchalant tone of voice caught me off guard. I was glad that he's on my side. I spoke up, adding on to what he had said. Anna, it seems that every time you go on a business trip, you meet with your other family. Why did you come to me even though you were already married? Did you think you could fool me? This marriage is a fraud. You're such an asshole, you piece of human garbage. And when I asked our company about your business trips, they told me that you almost never travel. You already have a gentleman of a husband and a beautiful daughter. I feel like such an idiot for believing you. Anna sighed as the two of us stared at her, but then she suddenly burst out laughing. Why did you have to find out? I was enjoying living a double life, you know? Especially John, you were something. We have the same last name, so it was easy to fool you. And since you work almost exclusively at night, I could have all the fun I wanted. Anna's mother scolded her. I didn't raise you to be this way, she said. She punched Anna in the face. I told Anna, well, you had 3 other lovers besides me, didn't you? I showed the photo as proof. Anna panicked. What are you, a stalker? I'm going to sue you, she said crazily. I thought you were cheating on me, so I had a detective collect evidence. I'm going to make sure you pay me and Roy a huge amount of money for this. Anna suddenly fell to her knees and started to beg. She said, I'm sorry, please, anything but the money. I'll continue seeing both of you the way I have, so don't make me pay for this. She screamed at us while crying. I was stunned speechless, but I managed to ask what she meant. She said she has no money because she's been paying too much to her lovers. I didn't give a shit. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. You'll hear from my lawyer, I said. With those words, I left Anna's parents' house. After that, I went to a lawyer. I sued Anna for damages on the grounds of falsifying our marriage. I am grateful to the lawyer because I got my money back. I felt sorry for Roy and told him I would pay him some of the money, though only a small amount. He refused. Rather, he thanked me for providing the evidence of Anna's affair. Somehow we became friends. Roy said that he was paid compensation by one of Anna's other lovers. He broke up with Anna. Of course, he also got child support. One of the men Anna had an affair with was her coworker. That coworker was demoted and transferred to a subsidiary company. Then another younger colleague started making Anna do extra work. She's been worked so hard every day, but she has to pay for my compensation, so she can't quit her job, no matter how hard it gets. I, on the other hand, moved out of the house I had been living in and rented a room just big enough for me to live alone. I'm living a comfortable life. I visit New York every year to see Roy and his daughter, and we keep in touch as well.